The Battle of Guandu. In 2000 AD, two major separatist forces in northern China, Cao Cao and Yuan Shao, engaged in a strategic, decisive battle in Guandu, present-day Zhongmu, Henan province, that would determine the future of the country. This classic battle, in which the few were defeated, the more not only ended Yuan Shao's dominant position, but also laid the foundation for Cao Cao's unification of northern China, becoming an important turning point in the scuffles among warlords at the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty. At the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, Yuan Shao occupied the four prefectures of Jizhou, Qingzhou, Bingzhou, and Yuzhou. He had an army of 100,000 soldiers and sufficient supplies of grain and forage, claiming to be from a family with 4 generations having served as grand counselors. He issued orders in Hebei. Cao Cao, on the other hand, held the emperor hostage to command the other warlords. He was based in the heartland of the Central Plains and controlled the 2 prefectures of Yanzhou and Yuzhou. However, he only had an army of more than 20,000 soldiers and was short of supplies of grain and forage. The conflict between the two sides stemmed from their competition for hegemony. In northern China, Yuan Shao intended to march southward to unify the Central Plains, while Cao Cao needed to break through Yuan Shao's blockade to ensure his survival. Yuan Shao dispatched Yan Lang to attack Baima, present-day Huaxi, Henan province. Cao Cao adopted the strategy of making a feint to the east while attacking in the west. Proposed by his advisor Xun Yu, he feigned an attack on Yanjin while actually sending light cavalry to launch a surprise attack on Baima. Yan Liang was beheaded in front of the battle array. Yuan Shao then sent the general Wen Chou to pursue. Cao Cao abandoned the supplies carried by his army to lure the enemy, and his cavalry launched a surprise attack and beheaded Wen Chou, which greatly dampened the morale of Yuan Shao's army. At this time, Yuan Shao stationed his troops in Guandu. Relying on his superiority in military strength, he built earthen hills and dug tunnels. Cao Cao countered with thunderbolt chariots, catapults, and deep trenches and fortifications. The two sides were locked in a stalemate for half a year. Cao Cao's supplies of grain and forage were almost exhausted, and he once intended to retreat. Fortunately, his advisor Xun Yu admonished him, saying, "This is a crucial moment to achieve victory by surprise. We must not miss this opportunity." At this time, Yuan Shao's advisor Xu You defected to Cao Cao and suggested that Cao Cao launch a surprise attack on Wuchao, present-day Fengqiu, Henan province, the vital supply base of Yuan Shao's army. Cao Cao personally led 5,000 elite cavalry and launched a night attack on Wuchao, setting fire to the supplies of grain and forage. Upon hearing the news, Zhang Ha and Gao Lan of Yuan Shao's army defected and surrendered. The morale of Yuan Shao's army collapsed, and his army suffered a complete defeat across the board. The Battle of Guandu ended with a complete victory for Cao Cao. Yuan Shao fled back to Hebei with only 800 cavalry. He died of illness 2 years later. His sons, Yuan Tan and Yuan Shang, engaged in an internal struggle. Cao Cao took the opportunity to pacify Hebei and completely unify northern China in 207. This battle demonstrated Cao Cao's military ideology that it is not the number of soldiers that matters, but their quality. It is not the courage of the general that matters, but his strategy. It also verified the truth that he who wins the support of talented people will win the world. The allegiance of resourceful men such as Xun Yu, Su Yu, and Zhang He became the key to victory. Thanks for watching.